What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing the self-sabotage subscriber challenge. And for anyone wondering why it wasn't posted yesterday, unfortunately it took a lot longer than usual to put together for a couple of reasons. Firstly, more than half these submissions gave incorrect final scores in their entries, and some weren't even out by just 1 or 2 points, but as much as 5 points, and you'll see the scoring was incredibly close this week, so that meant I actually had to go through and recalculate the scores for every single submission to see which 10 battles were actually the highest scoring battles. So please, in the future, double and triple check your scores to make sure you've added it up correctly, and if you're unsure about anything, please feel free to ask questions in the weekly subscriber challenge channel on my Discord. It's literally the entire reason why I finally created a Discord server. Now, the other reason is that it made me aware that if most of the submitters weren't even able to follow the scoring system, it might be a bit complicated for the viewers to follow along, so I've added a graphic displaying what stage debuff each Pokemon has had at all times, which should hopefully make things a lot clearer. Anyways, the point system is as always on the right hand side of the screen, and again I've color coded the bonus points to make it clear where the points are coming from at all times. Now don't forget, I'll be announcing next week's challenge at the end of this video, so please stick around for that. But with that being said, let's finally get into the question of the day. What other challenges would you like to see me set for my subscribers in the future? Ideally there must be a way to quantify these challenges so that there is an objective scoring system rather than of course a subjective scoring system like the Battle of Spice. Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the challenge now. Alright, so go into the first battle, leading Galarian Weezing into Ferrothorn. So we're going straight for the Overheat here. Overheat is going to debuff our attack by 2 stages, so that's 4 points on the board straight away. We then swap, we make a catch there, clearing the debuff as well, coming in with Hisuian Electrode, and the opponent actually debuffs our attack with a Mirror Shot there, so that's a bonus point. Very nice. We're now going to no shield once again. They can only throw resisted charge moves or maybe Acid Spray if they're running it, but quite unlikely. Either way, again, not going to bother shielding. We're waiting for the opponent to expend all of their energy before finally going for a Wild Charge. Now, Wild Charge is going to debuff our defense by 2 stages. You see the switch clock is coming back up, so we bank the energy. Really nice play there. And then come in with Lurantis. Again, clearing the debuff, but they debuff our attack straight away before swapping into a Shadow Cacturn. At this point, going to fire off a Leaf Blade here, maybe not thinking we can reach 2 superpowers, because of course Superpower is going to debuff our attack and our defense. At this point, they go for a Trailblaze. Fine with us. We now have the energy for the Superpower, and of course, Superpower, super effective. It gets another 4 points as it debuffs both the attack and the defense by 1 stage. We then swap, again preserving the health on Lurantis, coming in with the Weezing, and again they get a debuff with that Mirror Shot there, so another bonus point. Very nice. At this point, the opponent fires off another Mirror Shot before swapping into a Lantern. So of course, this is resisted damage, but we full send the Overheat anyways, getting 4 points on the board, but unfortunately we're already at -3 attack, so this is only going to be 2 points here as it's just a single stage debuff, but we get a bonus point for throwing a move after already applying a debuff to ourselves. We then swap, we snipe with the Wild Charge, but unfortunately they still survive, so we come in with Lurantis. We're going to use our final shield here as the opponent fires off the Surf, and Lurantis, can it outpace the Ferrothorn? Yes, it can. We reach a last second superpower, and once again going to debuff the attack and the defense, another 4 points on the board, and we finish with 30 points in total. So of course, only 1 battle so far, but we are in first place there, so well done to that trainer. Into next battle, and we are going to see Decidueye in the lead up against Empoleon. So of course, going to shield the first charge move here, and the opponent is going to go and fire off a Drill Peck. We're now going to overfarm in this matchup and fire off a Brave Bird. Now this is resisted damage, however, Brave Bird is going to debuff our defense by 3 stages, so we get 6 points on the board. We then swap, we clear the debuff, come in with Hisuian Electrode. The opponent fires off a Hydro Cannon there, which is kind of interesting, but either way, they come in with Swampert, and we're actually able to win CMP with the Wild Charge. Wild Charge gets another 4 points on the board as, of course, it drops our defense by 2 stages. We're now going to shield here, and we realize we can win CMP, so again, gonna throw on the CMP tie, and again, winning CMP, going for Wild Charge, 4 points and a bonus point for throwing after already having debuffed ourselves. So at this point, we're gonna let the Electrode go down. I'm gonna come in with the Decidueye here, I'm gonna bank a ton of energy, swap, bank the Brave Bird there, come in with Lurantis, catch the charge move. The opponent comes back in with Empoleon just to be fully Fury Cutter farmed down, and they've got Ferrothorn in the back, so this game is looking really nice. The opponent is going to reach a charge move. It's just going to be a Mirror Shot, and again, Mirror Shot debuffs our attack, so a bonus point. We can now go for the Superpower. Superpower gets 4 points there, as of course, again, debuffing the attack and defense by 1 stage. We go for another Superpower. It gets the KO there. We get a bonus point for throwing after already having debuffed ourselves, and we reach a last second Brave Bird. Brave Bird, another 6 points on the board, and we actually finished with a total of 31 points. So going into the lead there, very nice battle. But going into the next battle, we're going to see Galarian Weezing into Ferrothorn once again. So I feel like I'm watching a repeat of the first battle, but unfortunately, this cut was just very restrictive with what you could use. That does actually have self-debuffing moves. But either way, we go for the overheat. Again, 4 points. We then swap, catch the charge move onto Lurantis this time around. The opponent goes for a Thunder, which is resisted damage there. Very nice for us. They come in with a Razor Leaf Ludicolo, which is an interesting choice. We're now going to go for the Superpower. Superpower gets 4 points there, and we reach a second superpower already. So Superpower gets the KO. We, of course, then get a bonus point for throwing another move after having already debuffed ourselves. They come in with a Rock Smash Poliwrath. What the heck is even this? We are going to shield this. The opponent is going to go for an Icy Wind, so that's a bonus point for debuffing our attack. We've now farmed up to well over back-to-back Superpowers. Firing off the first one. Superpower is going to be shielded. We get 4 points anyways, and we can go for another Superpower. And again, this is going to get the 4 points and a bonus point for throwing after having already debuffed ourselves. They come in with Ferrothorn. So again, another 4 points here, as we are now going to be maximally debuffed in our attack, and we get the bonus point as well. So this part, we might just let this move go through. We are going to do exactly that. Power Whip gets the KO. We can come back in with the Galarian Weezing, and of course, we can go straight for the overheat. We are fully charging this. Overheat, going to be another 4 points on the board. And we finish with 32 points, so just narrowly in the lead now. Very well done to that trainer. But going into the next battle, and this is the only battle where I had a submission in the Master League, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But the opponent's going to swap into Landorus. We're staying in with the Ho-Oh, going straight for a Brave Bird. Brave Bird is going to get us 6 points on the board. We instantly clear the debuff there. Come in with a Zacian. The opponent fires off a Sandsear Storm, debuffing our attack, so that's a bonus point straight away without having even thrown a charge move. The opponent going to go for another Sandsear Storm most likely, which means we get 2 bonus points already. We haven't even thrown a move of our own, and we're actually going for a Play Rough here. So Play Rough is not going to get us any points, but the opponent not committing to a farm down there. They can't, so they're going to go and debuff our attack by another stage. So 3 points from the Zacian without actually getting any points of their own, all from the Landorus. But either way, they come in with a Melmetal. We're going straight for close combat. Close combat, gonna be no-shielded by the opponent. It does big damage. We get 4 points there, and then we swap into our Ho-Oh. Now the opponent comes in with a Palkia. We're not going to throw straight away here, as of course, debuffing our defense by 3 stages might allow them to fully farm us down. So we're going to farm up to 100 energy, fire off the Brave Bird here. Brave Bird is going to be no-shielded by the opponent. It does big damage, but the opponent does throw just before we reach the next charge move. At this point, Alcatel gets the KO, and we can come in and go for a full Geomancy farm down, coming out with very close to back-to-back close combats. The first one should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, and we get 4 points there, which means we can now fire off a second close combat, debuff our defense by 2 more stages, 4 more points, and a bonus point for already being debuffed, but unfortunately, that is going to put us into 4th place right now. But into the next battle, we've got Gramble into Tangro, so this is going to be an interesting matchup for us. We are on Snarl, so of course we can get to those close combats a lot faster than if we were on Charm. The opponent is going to fire for charge move. We're going to shield, and it's actually a Sludge Bomb, so that probably would have taken us out there. We're now going to go straight for close combat. Close combat is going to be no-shielded by the opponent. We get 4 points straight away, and we can go for a second close combat immediately. Close combat number 2, going to be shielded. We get the bonus point. We then swap into Lurantis, and we're not even double moved. Just a single moved Superpower Lurantis, which not ideal for us in this situation, but we're still going to grab points anyway, so we get 4 points there for debuffing the attack and the defense, and another 4 points plus a bonus point for already debuffing ourselves. And we grab both shields from the opponent, which is very nice. At this point, we come in with the Electrode, and we are going to go, unfortunately, just barely be outpaced to the charge attack here as the opponent goes for a Psychic. We are now committing to a farm down. The opponent actually snipes with the Tangrowth. But it's just an Ancient Power. We're able to hang on, bank a ton of energy, swap back into our Gramble. They come in with a Ferrothorn, and we're throwing immediately here, just in case there are Mirror Shots. Close combat does huge damage. It gets us 4 points on the board, and it forces the opponent to throw their energy. The opponent full sends a power whip, so clearly not on mirror shot, which means we can just farm up 2 back-to-back wild charges. The first one will get us 4 points for debuffing the defense by 2 stages, and of course we can throw a second wild charge immediately, 4 points and another bonus point there, finishing on a total of 31 points. So going into joint second place there, very nice battle. Into next battle, we're going to see Galarian Rapidash into Marwile. So of course, Rapidash going to be on the Community Day charge move, wild charge there, which is going to debuff the defense by 2 stages with each use. We go for it straight away, grabbing 4 points on the board and actually winning CMP here. So this is going to get us another 4 points and that bonus point for already debuffing ourselves. At this point, we just let the Rapidash go down, but the opponent goes for a power-up punch there, and they can Fire Fang farm us down. We come in with Galarian Weezing, and at this point, all shields are down on the opponent's end. We're going to shield. The opponent full sends a Play Rough there, so they should not be able to reach another charge move. We can overfarm just a little bit, fire off the Overheat. Overheat is going to get another 4 points on the board, debuffing our attack by 2 stages. They come in with Galissapod, but unfortunately, we lose CMP. So this point, we're going to shield. They go for an Aqua Jet, and again, going for another Overheat. So, of course, this is now going to maximally debuff our attack by 4 stages, and, of course, we get the bonus point for already being debuffed. We then swap. We make a very nice catch there, catching a resisted Aqua Jet onto our Chestnut. The opponent is going to bank some energy, but swap into Ferrothorn, and that's absolutely fine with us. We can go straight for Superpower. Again, Superpower, another +4, and we can reach another Superpower straight away. So Superpower number 2, going to get those 4 points plus the bonus point, and they come back in with Galissapod, but they needed to overfarm more than that. I believe we're just 1 away from another Overheat. Exeter gets the KO, and we're able to outpace them to the last second charge move. We can go for the Overheat, and Overheat, another 4 points, and again, finishing on 31 points there. So another trainer going into joint second place. This is incredibly close so far. Into next battle, we're going to see Hisuian Electrode into Ferrothorn. So again, bit of an awkward matchup here. All charge moves are going to be resisted on both ends, unless, again, like I said, they're running Acid Spray, but very unlikely. But we're actually going to shield anyways. We shield up a Flash Cannon that is resisted damage anyway, so yeah, why am I saying really so many times? I really don't understand why we shielded that, because, of course, now we're debuffing our defense here. We're going to take more damage, but either way, we're going to debuff our attack by 4 stages, then swap out, and the opponent, instead of just going for another Flash Cannon, they actually swap out themselves, bank a ton of energy. We go for Wild Charge, we get another 4 points there, and we can reach another Wild Charge before they throw their energy. So Wild Charge gets another 4 points plus the bonus point, and we put them into hopefully farm down range for one of our Pokemon in the back. Although still going to be awkward here, we are going to come in with the Electrode, and we're not going to farm them down. Instead, going for that Wild Charge immediately. Wild Charge is going to get the KO, another 4 points there. They come back in with the Ferrothorn. At this point, we are also going to shield once again as they go for the Flash Cannon once again. We can now overfarm. No, never mind. We're just going to throw the Wild Charge immediately here. Wild Charge is not going to get the KO, so we swap, but we do get a bonus point there for throwing a second Wild Charge, and we're going for a huge BM here, going for the Close Combat. Close Combat does very little damage, but it does get us 4 points on the board, and now the opponent, maybe a full sense of security, going to overfarm here. We go for the crunch. We get a bonus point for having already debuffed our attack, our defense by 2 stages, and as a result, we finish on 32 points. So going into joint first place there. Very nice battle. Into the next battle, going to see Dartrix into a Golduck. So Dartrix should be on Brave Bird here. The opponent is going to swap out of this matchup into Quagsire. What on earth is that swap? We're going straight for Brave Bird. We're actually not going to hit any bubbles, assuming we're going to grab a shield anyway. So 6 points straight away. We swap, we catch the charge move onto Rapidash, but they're actually on Sludge Bomb. That really takes us off guard, but we can still reach a Wild Charge before they fully farm us down. Wild Charge, another 4 points there, but they can go for a big farm down. At this point, even if they get that farm down, it doesn't matter too much. We should be able to shield once and then just fully farm them down with fast moves, and we're able to do exactly that. Now they come in with an Eldegoss there, so they are going to be completely walled. We can now go for the Brave Bird up against this Golduck, but we want to maximize points, so we're going to fully undercharge it, 6 points, clear the debuff, come in with our Gramble, and we're going to shield the first charge move. The opponent goes for an Ice Beam there, which is definitely fine with us. We're now going to go and full send the Close Combat, undercharging it, but it doesn't really matter. Close Combat gets the KO anyways, 4 points, and we're still able to reach another Close Combat up against the Eldegoss coming back in. 4 points plus the bonus point there, and of course, We're going to resist everything they can possibly throw. They don't even throw a charge move anyways. I don't know if they've even got there, but either way, Brave Bird gets 6 points, and again, another battle finishing with a total of 31 points. So many trainers basically on 32 or 31 points right now. Into next battle, we're going to see Lurantis into a Amoonguss. So we are going to stay in this matchup. The opponent's going to safe swap into a Infestation Araquanid. So we're going to go for the superpower, grab a shield there, then swap, clear the debuff, come in with our Dartrix once again, and we get a bonus point as they go for a Bubble Beam, debuffing our attack. Absolutely fine with us. At this point, we're going to no shield once again. The opponent is going to go and full send the Bug Buzz this time around. No debuff this time, but it's okay. We can go for the Brave Bird here. And Brave Bird even debuff to our attack. Still gets the one shot. The opponent's going to come back in with the Amoonguss, and we've got another Brave Bird, so we might as well full send it. Brave Bird is only get us 2 points there because we've already debuffed the defense by 3 stages, but we get the bonus point for throwing a move after having already debuffed ourselves. We then go for a superpower up against the Amoonguss. Again, that is resisted damage, so not going to do too much there. They go for the Sludge Bomb, and we can go for another superpower. So again, superpower, going to get 4 points plus the bonus point, and at this point, we just let Lurantis go down. Sludge Bomb gets the KO. We can come in with our Shadow Alona Executor, but we're actually on Bullet Seed here. So Bullet Seed, of course, going to be a very difficult farm down up against the Amoonguss. We're just going straight for Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb gets us no points there, but they've got the Detonate in the back. So unfortunately, Draco Meteor not going to be great, but we swap. We catch a Parabolic Charge, and the opponent is going to unfortunately boost up the defense, but we are full sending Draco Meteor anyways. Draco Meteor still does huge damage there, even with a buff defense up against a Fairy type Pokemon. Of course, we debuff our attack by 2 stages, and the opponent is going to not get the defense buff this time. We can go for another Draco Meteor. Draco Meteor gets the KO there. 4 points plus the bonus point, and again, another trainer finishing on 32 points there. Insane. But into the next battle, we are going to see Galarian Weezing up against Ferrothorn. So I believe this is the final battle of the video. So can this trainer get into that first place position, or will they end up finishing on the same points as basically every other trainer? I guess we're about to find out. But either way, getting 4 points straight away with the Overheat. I'm not really sure why the opponent shielded that, but either way, we are going to completely wall the Gastrodon here. Of course, resisting everything they can throw. They keep going for Body Slam. Don't understand why. We are a Ghost type. We are double resisting that, and it's non-stab. We now finally throw a Brave Bird here. Brave Bird is going to get the KO, 6 points, and we go for another Brave Bird straight away. So, of course, once again, Brave Bird only get 2 points plus the bonus point this time around, but that's okay. At this point, we come in with Lurantis, and we are going to get a lot of bonus points here, I believe, because the opponent is going to go straight for an Icy Wind, debuffing our attack there. Bonus point. They then swap into Ferrothorn. That is absolutely fine with us. We can go straight for Superpower. Superpower is going to connect. It does big damage. We can go for another superpower. Superpower number 2 is going to get the KO, a bonus point there as well, and we can come back in with our Weezing, and at this point we're going to call a bait. The opponent does bait. That's another bonus point, and we can now go for the Overheat here. Overheat going to be another 4 points on the board, and the opponent is going to get an Ice Shard farm down. Now, the opponent is going to throw another Icy Wind, which does mean we should be able to win this matchup here with 33 points, and that will put us in the lead. So, Superpower is going to get the KO there. 4 points, finishing on 33 points and finishing in the lead. So, here we have the final standings. It's crazy to see that 8th place and 1st place were separated by just 2 points, but massive congratulations to the 1st place, Poobleys. So well done there. And finally, I can now announce next week's challenge, the Not Rocket Science Challenge, which ironically probably is the most complicated challenge that we've had so far in terms of the scoring system, but the aim of this challenge is to imitate a Team Rocket member in the Great League. Now, you can score points, and then in the brackets we've got the maximum number of points you can get for each one. If you use a triple Shadow team, up to 3 points. If you don't swap out of any matchups, you can get up to 2 points. If you use a Pokemon in the assigned order before you went into the battle, you get 1 point there. If you shield the first 2 charge attacks, you can get 2 points. If you use 1 charge attack per Pokemon throughout the battle, you get up to 3 points for that. Basically 1 point for each Pokemon that you do that for. If you throw your charge attacks as soon as you reach them each time, and there's no limit for this because it will just depend on how many charge attacks you throw. If you don't use any legacy moves, you can get 1 point there. If you use Pokemon of the same typing, you can get up to 2 points there. If you use an unevolved Pokemon in the lead, you can get 1 point. And if you win the battle, you can get up to 3 points. Well, I don't know why I said up to 3 points. You will just get 3 points if you win the battle. So obviously that's a little bit more complicated than in the previous challenges. So I do recommend checking out the official official submission form before you actually try attempting these challenges, because I'm going to go into a lot more detail about how you score these points. For example, only use one charge attack per Pokemon throughout the battle doesn't mean that you can only throw a single move. What it does mean is, for example, if you're using a Shadow Dragonite, which has access to Dragon Claw and Superpower, once you throw a Dragon Claw, you can only commit to using Dragon Claw throughout the rest of the battle. You cannot throw a Superpower, otherwise you will not get that bonus point. And then, of course, if you do this for all 3 Pokemon, that's where we get the maximum of 3 points. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more detail about how you can earn points for each of the specific criteria in the submission form, so definitely check that out. But if you do still have any questions, feel free to ask them in the Discord server. There is literally a channel dedicated to asking questions about it and for me to post it and ask for your advice as well, so please just ask questions there. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.